Is the new S-Works Epic 8 actually faster than the bike it replaced, the S-Works Epic Evo? We aim to find out by comparing lap times and using power as a tool to figure out which of these bikes is the faster, more efficient cross-country bike. If that interests you, stick around. Real-world epics, training, racing, and figuring out how to balance it all with life's demands. This is Low Angle Adventures. If you're new here, you should know that I've already compared these two bikes, but that comparison was entirely subjective. A ride and feel analysis that provided some valuable insights into each bike, but lacked objective performance data. My friend Will supplied the Epic 8 and some commentary for that video, which is linked in the description below and at the end of this video. Here, we're stepping up the analysis by riding back-to-back laps on both bikes, which are equipped with the same power meter. Our test track is a 2.6-mile loop with about 400 feet of climbing per lap, and the lap is mostly single track with some gravel road. The single track sections include jumps, on-camber turns, flat corners, a few seriously rough rock gardens, and a pedally descent down a trail made of concrete rubble. In other words, the lap mimics a World Cup course, which is exactly what these bikes are made for. First, test protocol. Will came back with his S-Works Epic 8, which is a 24-pound custom build that uses Flight Attendant suspension. He's running a lighter set of wheels and tires since our first comparison, which together shave about a pound off the bike. My bike is an S-Works Epic Evo, the previous generation, which uses a 2-position remote lockout that we operated manually as needed on each lap. It weighed 22.6 pounds as configured for this test. And because a big part of what we're testing here is the electronic suspension technology, we let Flight Attendant determine how to set the suspension through the laps on Will's bike. His default settings for its operation are in the description below. We left the bike set up almost identically to our last test, with each running about 30% rear sag and tire pressures dialed into our personal preferences. And in an effort to make this about the bikes and not the riders, we tried to ride at 90 to 95% of our sustainable power when climbing. Otherwise, we were essentially at race pace on the descents and on the flats. As you'll see, we weren't perfectly consistent, but we did pretty well. Trying to hit a power target is certainly better than going all out, which would allow fatigue to influence the results. And all the results, both total lap times and segment times, were recorded with average power in watts, which gives us a more complete picture of efficiency. I've broken the data down into 6 timed segments that include the complete lap and 5 segments within each lap. It's a lot of data, and I'll put it all on the screen at the end and in the description. But here are 3 takeaways from the most significant segments. There's a long section in the middle of the lap with fast corners and a few short climbs, all of which require lots of pedaling. Let's call it the pedally section. It's just under a mile long and has 65 vertical feet of climbing. On the Epic Evo, it took me 4 minutes and 1 second at 202 watts average. And on the Epic 8, I did it in 3:57 at 208 watts. A pretty inconclusive result. But with Will riding, we begin to see the first hint of an advantage. On the Epic Evo, he rode this section in 4:28 at 188 watts. But on the Epic 8, he did it in 4:26 at 170 watts. That's a lot less power to produce a quicker time. The trend continues on the second climb, which is about half a mile and rises 156 feet. On the Epic Evo, I rode it in 2:57 at 251 watts, and on the Epic 8, it took 2:59 at 238 watts. Yes, I was slightly slower on the new bike, but I used 13 fewer watts to achieve the near equal time. So I'm giving that win to the new bike. Will's data produced a clear winner. On the old Epic, he rode a 3-minute 26-second lap at 244 watts, but on the new bike, he rode a 3:22 at 237 watts, so he was both quicker and used far less energy on the new bike. Finally, let's look at the entire lap, which paints a clearer picture of the trends we're starting to see in the data. On the Epic Evo, I rode the lap in 12 minutes 39 at 199 watts average. I was quicker on the Epic 8, which delivered a 12:30 lap at 196 watts average, both quicker and more efficient than the old bike. Will's lap times fell in favor of the Epic 8 as well. On the old bike, he rode a 13:54 at 190 watts, while on the Epic 8, he rode a whopping 18 seconds faster to produce a 13:36 while averaging 188 watts. Again, the new bike was quicker and required less energy to achieve that result. Here's what all the data looks like, with the green highlights indicating segments or laps that favor a particular bike. Segments with no coloring are what I consider inconclusive results. Pause the video if you want to dig into the details, or find them in the description below. Note that I've given 2 subjective wins to the Epic 8 when I was riding it, because even though it wasn't faster in those 2 segments, it was disproportionately more efficient while producing a very close time to the old Epic. If we're going to let trends in the data determine this outcome, it's pretty easy to pick a winner. The Epic Evo gets only 1 objective win between both riders. Every other segment is either inconclusive or is won by the Epic 8. So what's it all mean? I think it's hard to deny that there's something to Flight Attendant, especially when it's paired with the Epic 8. Is this a perfect test? No. There's still some data here that's not coherent. But there are also clear trends, and we've made an honest attempt to control for power, which has the biggest influence over speed. The results are more conclusive than I thought they would be, especially given the weight difference between the 2 bikes. Plus, Will and I are both light riders, who are more likely to feel differences than heavier, more powerful riders. But I can't say that the difference in weight mattered to me, and neither did the 10mm difference in rear travel. I simply don't notice it. So are these performance differences enough to justify the price Specialized asks for the new bike when there are plenty of old Epic Evos on the used market? Are they enough to matter to any amateur? Do they matter to you? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please subscribe by hitting the button in the bottom right corner of the screen. Check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.